Good afternoon. Here we are in the Swinter Group World Headquarters located in St. Louis, Missouri. My name's Ken Bogeman. We're talking winter with Swinter. Got Zach Frame, Brent Reeder here with us. This is going to be exciting. We're going to talk all about snow removal all the time. It's going to be great, what everybody wants to hear.
I love snow.
It's the best thing in the world.
Dang right. Man, look at that. Cool, crisp intro. Here it is. First podcast ever. Man, does it feel like we're changing the trajectory of our lives right now?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be kind of good.
I'm into it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. If nothing else, we look hip. We got our headphones and microphones and booms and stuff.
That's right.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, man. Well, we're going to talk more about snow removal on every single episode. It's going to be somehow tied to snow. That's what we're here for. So Swinter Group is, we are everything snow removal here in St. Louis, Missouri. We're equipment dealers. We are, de-icing materials. We do services, consulting, expert witness work. I mean, everything that we do here all year long has to do with snow removal. And yep, we're in St. Louis where we get like 20 inches of snow a year on a good year. So
that's a pretty good year.
It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, but that's over 30 events, so I mean.
That's fair. We get like 19 inches of ice, so we get to deal with that. That's exciting. So we're going to focus this episode today here on talking about, what to do at the end of the season. Because, it's, I guess we're early. Where are we? Are we early summer or is this still spring?
Oh, it's early summer.
Yeah, we're early summer.
All right, so we should have done a lot of this stuff already, which we're pretty well wrapped up for the wintertime. And we'll hope if you're listening now-ish, you're wrapped up as well. But if not, here's a good episode on some stuff that you can do to help keep your equipment in good shape and keep your customers happy and your staff happy and blah 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 blah. Everybody happy because happy's good, right?
Happy's awesome.
Happy's awesome. What are you drinking?
Water.
No, you're not.
We're working.
That's fair. Fair enough. So yeah, man. So I guess let's just let's dive right into it. So so we've got kind of an outline we're going to follow here. So, hopefully this flows well and makes some sense. But we do want to hear from you guys as well. So if you are listening and there's something, snow removal related that you want us to talk about or give you some tips or advice or, just open it up for conversation, whatever, go ahead and shoot those over to podcast@swintergroup.com. And we'd be happy to, bring on any topics that we can. So, yay-ha. So right now, let's talk about, one of the first things you need to do when season wraps up is get your stuff hauled out of properties, right?
Yeah, you got to get it out of there, man. You can't leave your stuff laying around.
It's got to go.
Got to go.
What? It's got to go.
It's all got to go.
And it's like, no, it doesn't. Just leave it there all year.
Leave it there.
It's fine. It's fine.
Just let it rot to pieces on someone else's property. That's a great idea.
Well, I don't want rust in my driveway.
Fair enough. So assuming you do get your equipment all back, you need to, everybody, does something. They at least unhook their plows from their truck, right? They at least take the spreaders out of the beds on most of the equipment. Not always all of it, but most of it. So when you do that, one of the things that you really need to do well is cleaning, right?
That's a big part of it, yeah.
Big part. Stuff's just too expensive to let that rot away. And especially now, even getting parts for stuff is so damn hard that you want to do everything you can to try to take care of it, right?
Yeah, if you order a part now, you'll be lucky to get it by winter.
Right.
It's pretty bad.
I think a lot of people think they do a good job cleaning, but they really don't.
Yep.
They wash it. They think they got all the salt off. They come back in a few months, and it still looks like crap, like they didn't even take care of it.
Yep. Well, and that's because there's a chemical reaction that occurs. Well, not reaction so much as a chemical bond where, the chlorides in the salts, will actually bond themselves to the steel, and the ridiculous pressure it takes from a power washer to break that bond is a lot. Mm-hmm. So you gotta have something to pull the salt off of there. And there are a bunch of products that are out there for it, that most of which are a neutralizing wash of some kind. So do you want some examples of the neutralizing stuff are? I'm going to put you on the spot, Zach.
Yeah, you put me right on the spot,
right
out of the gate.
Spotlight.
I don't know specific names of most of these products. I've seen them a lot on social media. Here's how you address your vehicle when it gets done with winter. Let's get all these corrosion products out. So The main one that comes to mind, and I'm a little biased on my opinion of this product, but the main one that comes to mind is Salt Eliminator from Crown.
Yep, and that's Crown, Krown. So that stuff, so that actually works a lot differently. It's not a neutralizer. So like NutriWash or salt neutralizer or anything that has a neutralizing term in it. If you look at the ingredients, you've got actually there's acids in there. That what happens is the idea is the chemical attacks the salt and neutralizes it. Well, it neutralizes the salt, and it tends to neutralize the paint, and it neutralizes the finish, and it makes it neutralizes everything it touches.
And that's not good.
That's bad. That's bad. Yeah. So the one thing that does make Salt Eliminator different is that it does not have those neutralizing tendencies to it. It's got a pH about the same as a cup of coffee. So
I love coffee.
Coffee's delicious. Is that what you're drinking? You drinking coffee?
No, it's water.
That's right. We already covered that. So you want to try to look into what's available in your market. So depending on where you are in the country, you may be able to find something that that is readily available from hopefully your snow removal equipment dealer's got something they can recommend to you. But definitely find something that will at a chemical level break the bond between the chloride and the steel, so that when you clean that equipment, you're really getting all of the salt off there that you possibly can.
And your typical car wash soaps aren't going to take that stuff off, right?
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
So say I clean my equipment and I use my favorite Meguiar's car wash soap. Okay, everybody loves Meguiar's, and I wash my equipment down and it looks physically clean. Is it actually clean? Did I get all that sodium out of there?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So and the thing is what you're looking at when it looks clean is you're looking at a painted surface usually.
Right.
So the painted surface isn't the bare steel. Right, so that's not what you're most concerned about. You're most concerned about the non-painted surfaces. So your frame rails, your hardware that actually holds everything together. But the drag chains inside your spreaders, things like that. That the paint's gone, and now you've got just bare steel there. That's what you really need to take care of.
Right.
So that's where you want to find some kind of product that you can use to help clean that off with. And the most important thing is when you're washing that, after you wash it, keep an eye on it when it dries. And you're looking for the little white, I can't believe I'm going to say it, the little white snail trails, right?
I'm sorry?
You heard me. Little white snail trails. Where, on the corners where the water may dribble out of the bed or run down the side or something. If you've got a little white streak there, that means that there's still salt in there. And then you want to, clean that up. Yep. So finding some products, use that. And then, make sure to double check everything, make sure that it's done well. If you need to wash it more than once, then absolutely do that. And then you got to make sure that after you get it good and cleaned, you need to protect that with something. So again, this is going to be situational depending on where you are in the country. We're a little biased towards Crown. We think that's the greatest stuff since sliced bread, but there are definitely other products that are out there that are available, rust check, fluid film, blah, 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 blah. There's other ones that are out there that you can take a look at and see what's available around you. But look for something that is not an encapsulant is my personal preference.
Absolutely.
So, okay. What?
I was going to say I've been doing snow for quite a while, even before being with Swinter, and I use those WD-40, the fluid film, the encapsulant type products, and none of those worked as good as Crown or something like Crown. The encapsulants really did a good job of keeping your drag chain from being able to start the next season.
Yep,
because when you get out a pipe wrench to try and break all those bonds and stuff like that. And then the fluid film and WD-40 did a good job short term, but it didn't last.
Right. You put it away in the spring. By the time winter rolls around, it's gone.
Especially if you're storing your equipment outside. The weather would wear that product away because that product doesn't really penetrate into the metal or into any of the harnesses.
Right.
To help them last.
Right.
Whereas the Crown does a really good job of creeping into everything.
And the difference with Crown is that it's an oil based product. So with with fluid film, you've got I believe it's lanolin wax, that it's a waxy product. So if you just spray fluid film and spray, you get that waxy buildup over time. And that wax prevents the product from moving around on the steel, and it builds up. So when you reapply on top of the wax, right?
Yeah, let's not forget also that some of those products, not only do they encapsulate, I think I said that right, encapsulate?
Yep, sounds good.
Not only does that happen, but at the same time, your equipment is just covered in a layer of gunky filth, whereas most of these products will fall down to a light film.
And you're talking the oil based products.
Exactly.
Yep.
They're gonna dwindle down to a nice film over time, and you're barely gonna know it's there, and you'll be able to move your equipment around and get it hooked up come winter time, and not have your crews covered in this just gunk.
Right.
You're gonna get a little bit on you. It's gonna happen, but that thin film really does the job well, I think.
Yep.
And just one more thing on that. My favorite part about Crown is that when you're doing your electrical connections, how many people are out there are packing every connection full of dielectric grease?
Oh, yeah.
All the way up.
So it worked. But then when it comes fall or the next time you're going to use it, you have grease everywhere. And now you're having to dig all that stuff out because of how nasty everything gets. You just spray this stuff in there and it stays perfectly clean, no excess material. And you don't have to worry about that getting that all over yourself or all over your equipment.
Yeah, and that's a really good thing to talk about on the high points. So your electrical connections, couplers are a big deal. So if you've got skid loaders or larger loaders with articulating plows on them, you're going to have your hydraulic connections, and those things those sit all summer long. And those things are really expensive to replace too. So if you can get those things good and soaked with again with some type of oil based corrosion protection product, then you're starting to see more and more of them out there.
Yeah.
And and in fact, I think Crown makes most of them and sells them as well. So they're up to T45.
45.
They're on T45 is their product, but there's still T32 and T40 that's still out there that they sell to other competitors as well. So and all of those products are real good. So
just do something
to help keep it lubricated and protected from corrosion. All good stuff, right?
Everything's good.
Yay.
It occurred to me, we're like almost 12 minutes in and I hadn't hit a button yet.
You haven't pushed one yet?
I know, right? I got all these buttons over here. There's this whole council of buttons.
Do you have the big red button?
I do.
What does it do?
No, I'm just kidding. I just made a knock sound. It just turns off the recording, then we got to start over again.
I don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that.
No.
We don't want to do that. That's bad.
This is
That's
like
bad.
take 72.
True enough. So yeah, so now, okay, so you got it cleaned, you've got it protected with some kind of corrosion protection product, and now you need to store it, right? Mm-hmm. So some tips on putting that away, right? So you got to get the equipment put away so that when you get it out in the spring, it works again. So some of the things that we do here is we try to go through things like our trucks and skid loaders and wheel loaders and some of the equipment that we have that's going to sit for a while. We batteries are always a problem. They've been a problem for a long time, and we kind of figured out that oddly enough, one of the easiest solutions we got for that was we went and just got cheap little battery conditioners, and just go to Harbor Freight or Northern Tool or where we got those.
Yeah, it was Harbor Freight, $12.
There you go. Plug those things in, hook up the battery, and just let it sit there and keep them a little trickle charge all summer long. And now, did we replace any batteries last fall?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think we did.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we had. I know typically we tried disconnecting batteries. We tried starting the equipment once every 30 days. We've tried doing all of these other things, and the simplest thing was, to your point, a $12 little battery pack.
Yeah, I mean, what you got to do is you got to keep those electrons in the battery moving. And that's what keeps the battery alive. Is when they sit there and they go stagnant, is when you'll see that charge start to fall off, and then you can never regain the full capacity of that battery again.
Right. So once a battery gets to that point where it's worn down, and then you start using it again the next year, well, you're not going to be able to regain the life that you lost in the 3 or 6 months that thing sat. Right.
Exactly right. Yeah. So you'll get to your season, and your battery might slow crank, and then you give it a little jump, and that'll get the equipment going, and it'll show a charge, and you'll think everything's honky-dory. And that's fine until that unit sits for maybe a day or two, and then you're dead in the water again.
Yep. Mucho bado.
Yeah, major bad.
Major bad. It's a lot not good. Whoa. Somebody didn't turn their ringer off.
Man, I thought it was me for a second. I was scared.
Nope, that was me.
My phone already rang once. I knew I'm good.
We could have answered it, but since we're actually recording this one, it's probably a bad plan.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, we're going to get all these gaffes out on the first episode. It'll be all right.
Yeah, here we go. It's no problem. So then, okay. So other than batteries, what are some things that that you can think of that are issues with off season storage for snow equipment?
Man, tires.
Yep.
Tires. When those tires sit with a load on them for months at a time, you're gonna generate flat spots. You're gonna get dry rotting, and keeping those tires. You can even condition your tires, so you can do an oily layer on your tires to keep them nice and soft and so to where they don't get that flat spot and that dry rot.
What do you use for that? What's a good product for that?
Really? If you want to know the easy mode for some of our fleet guys out there is your waste engine oil.
There you go. When you're not using it to heat your shop,
That's right.
don't be embarrassed.
Dump a little bit on your tire. It's fine.
Right.
What about products like Armor All and stuff like that?
Armor All is great short term, I think. Armor All is better suited in an interior, so like your dash and stuff. You know, it'll keep your dash nice and conditioned and all that with the sun rays coming through the windshield. But when you're out there in the elements and you've got rain and you know all these other things and debris blowing around, it's going to take that Armor All right off.
And something too is that we're here once we get to this time of year, our equipment, with the exception of a few dump trucks that run around, all of our stuff sits, and it sits all summer long. And
But it's pretty.
It is pretty, but it does sit all summer long. So it that becomes problematic in the fall when you got to move stuff around that hasn't moved in months. So those are just kind of some of the things that we do. So another thing that we did that we really, really experienced was well worth the investment was storing the equipment inside out of the sun versus outside. It was a tremendous benefit when we built a building that we could put most of that equipment inside of and keep it out of the sun. And we had to be sure to put a few mouse traps around there as well. We had to keep little critters out. But once getting things out of the sun is a huge deal. So the nice thing about a building, which not everybody can build a building to put their equipment in, but if you can, fantastic. If you can make room inside of an existing building to put the equipment in, that's great. But if you can't and you need to keep it out of the sun is the big deal. Keeping it out of the sun is huge. And so, we see a lot of times, I've seen plows that, guys get to set their plow out and then they put a tarp over it and then they run bungee cords around the headgear on it. And, they have that tarp over the headgear. And some of the problems with that is now you're going to capture moisture in there.
Yep.
So you got to be careful with that, which capturing a little bit of moisture is one thing, but when you start getting a lot of moisture in there, that becomes, El Bado again.
Yeah, especially with today's plows, and you got to worry about that condensation building up inside the modules and all the controllers and things like that. You really need to keep these things out of the sun and ventilated.
Yeah, but fortunately, modules, they're easy to come by and cheap, right? I used a button again.
That was well timed.
Yeah. So what's the story on like Douglas Dynamics modules? What's the story on those guys these days?
As far as
the availability, I know they were almost impossible to find last year.
So I think that their production is actually back up to speed of where it needs to be. And I can't see what they have stored in the warehouse. I can only see, like, say I go to order one, I can see if they have that one. So I can't see long term. Right now, if you need one now, I'd get it now before they go out of stock again.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit too. But that's actually something that over the rest of the summer, if you're listening, well, one, thank you, and then two, come back because we're going to be traveling kind of all over the country, checking out cool sites, and Douglas Dynamics is one of those that we're going to try to get to at least 2, maybe 3 of their facilities between now and wintertime, and do some interviews with folks that are at their production and manufacturing facilities, and kind of to get firsthand from them on what do they have, what don't they have, and why, and all that kind of jazz. So we're actually coming up. We're coming up on. You ready for this? A commercial break.
A commercial break.
I know we're actually 4 minutes late. How about that? We were wondering if we're going to fill time, and here we are.
Here we are, 4 minutes late.
Man, that's awesome. Kind of, not really. So anyway, yep. So we're going to jump off to commercial here real quick. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Are you still mixing station gas and oil for your string trimmer, leaf blower, or chainsaw? Eliminate the mess and the guesswork with True Fuel, the original pre-mixed 2-cycle fuel. True Fuel is ethanol-free and precision-engineered for small engines, improving performance and extending the life of your outdoor power equipment. And True Fuel is available for both 2- and 4-cycle engines. Empower your equipment with True Fuel. Learn more at TrueFuel50.com.
You're listening to Turfs Up Radio, the only radio station of its kind dedicated to the green industry. Now you can even ask Alexa to tune you in when you're home.
Isn't it nice when the weather cooperates and crews complete jobs on time and on budget? But weather can cause delays, and with paper route sheets, jobs get lost in the shuffle. That's why you need Aspire Crew Control scheduling software, an easy-to-use, flexible, and affordable solution that allows you to shift schedules with a single click. Try Aspire Crew Control for free at aspirecrewcontrol.com.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world, here's to all the women in the green industry. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Yeah, I can't believe they let us on here.
I know, right? It's kind of amazing. So, I guess good time to say thanks to the folks at Turfs Up for helping sponsor this thing and get it off the ground and get it moving and shaking. And we're excited to be part of the team over there.
Yeah, completely helped us out immensely with getting going on this. So huge thank you to you guys.
Yep. So thanks to them. So we're wrapping up on equipment and what to do with that. So, but yeah, and you just said a second ago about if you need parts, do it now.
Right now.
So that is a really, really good habit to get into, is in the spring, as you're taking your equipment off, make note of what's broke, what might break, what is on its last leg, things that you think you may need to replace, especially with supply chain issues like we've got going right now. Order those parts ASAP and make sure that you've got them for the following winter.
Absolutely right. And once you get them in, let's go ahead and just take a few minutes and verify that those parts are functioning like they should be. If you don't have time to replace them all right away, that's fine. But, I highly recommend go ahead and check those things out, make sure they're functioning like they should as soon as you get them, so you're in that return window if you need it.
I've seen so many guys buy parts in the spring or late winter and not even bother opening the box or putting them on their plow or spreader until the fall, only to realize it's either the wrong part or, like you said, it doesn't even function. But
exactly,
did it function when they got it, or did it go bad because they stored it incorrectly?
And now you're out that money because you can't return it.
Exactly.
So
I mean, there's nothing, even your dealer, they can't help you with that because you waited so stinking long on something.
Exactly.
Well, man, that's something, and we're a Fisher and Snow X dealer here, and I know that we've had, what is it? I guess so. Our snow season here really starts kicking off around the first part of November, and man, I tell you, it's like the entire world waits until November 1st to start looking at their equipment, and then there's we can only keep so much in stock, and then with supply chain issues, it's really tough getting stuff late. So if you can get it early, do so. And that's also a really, really good time to, take a look at what equipment are you planning on replacing, because even brand new equipment, it may be tough to get, so that's something where if you can order that early, your dealers should be able to set you up with an early season order kind of discount as well. It'll be cheaper to buy it, now than it would be to wait until November for sure.
On a good day, though, it doesn't take very long to get anything that we have to order. But if you have a brand new truck or a product line, I mean, it took 2 or 3 months for us to get a plow frame in this past year, and
yeah, you really got to watch for those changing in production years too. So your Ford dealers and your Chevy guys and all those guys, if they have a change in production year and they change that mount mid-year, you need to get that thing quick, because once you place the order, you got one coming to you. However, they are sometimes still even in the design phase of that mount, and once they have them done, they're sold and they're gone. So if you're getting a new truck and you're outfitting it this year, just make sure you're ahead of the ball on that.
And that doesn't matter where you buy the product.
No,
it's all on the manufacturers on that.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
the pipeline starts with the manufacturer. So don't beat up the local guy when we can't get it.
Right. That's fair. That is fair. But you can also ask your local guy to ask if they know anybody that might have it too.
Absolutely.
As dealers, we want to try to help our other dealers. And if there's we've transferred equipment from other dealers that have called us and said, hey, do you have this spreader, or do you have that part? And if we've got it, we'll absolutely send it to them. I mean, we want to do the best we can to try to help everybody out, because that's what we're trying to do, is try to make sure that everybody gets what they need.
Exactly. It's all about networking with your dealer. Talk to your dealer. He's going to be your kind of guideline throughout the industry. So,
is it a necessity to bring your dealer donuts?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Donuts and water.
Water or whiskey?
Water. We're working.
Water. Oh, that's right. We're working. Damn it. What are you drinking?
Water.
I knew it. Nice. So, all right. So we're going to move on and talk about, at the end of the season, materials. What are you going to do with your materials? So, the first thing that I would suggest doing is talking to your material suppliers and asking them, if they have any materials that they want to close out. As the winter season winds down, a lot of times, particularly if it's a busy winter, your supply houses are going to bring on a tremendous amount of inventory so they don't run out. And they would much rather that inventory be in the form of cash than in the form of, a bulk product or a bag product hanging out on the shelf. So, so that may be something where you are in a position where if you've got some cash flow and if you've got, room to keep it, that may behoove you to, look for closeouts that, towards the end of winter might be pretty good. And then on, leftover bulk salt that you've got, one of the things is at the end of the year, ideally your bins are getting pretty low, right? And so that salt that's in the back of the bin, that may be pretty old, depending on, how often you cycle that bin out. If you've got salt there that's, a year or two old, this is a great time to get in there and turn that salt. So dig it all out, make sure it's all in good shape, put it all back in, because the longer it sits there, the harder it's going to get, the more difficult it's going to be to break it up. So that's a good time for that. And then you want to make sure, obviously keep water off of it. Water's bad.
Water's bad with salt?
Water's bad with salt.
Huh.
Gets all crusty. You get a dome.
A dome.
A dome in the dome.
Is it a hard dome or a soft dome? I deserve that.
I got to use another button.
I deserve that.
So yeah, we know a guy who their salt did get wet and it froze real hard, and as they were digging it out with a skid steer turned around while still inside the pile, and there was a great big chunk of just rock hard salt on it that came down on top of the back, and
The literal size of a Volkswagen Bug.
Yeah, it was huge.
I mean, it's not even being a joke. It was that big of a chunk of salt that came down.
Yeah, really, really, really big bill making that thing go. And then the machine was down for the rest of the storm. That was bad all the way around. So do what you can to make sure to keep the water off of it and make sure that you can keep it turned up. If you're going to use tarps, to cover your salt, that's fine. Your blue tarps from Home Depot are gonna, you're not gonna quite get as much life out of them as you would maybe if you find yourself somebody that makes the billboard signs that are the vinyl billboard signs. Those things are super tough. Downside is they weigh about 8 gajillion pounds.
Yeah, it takes two of me to do it.
So one normal person.
Well, you're in, yeah.
I'm in shape. Leave me alone.
You're in shape. That's fine.
Everything's fine.
Right on. It's good. Zach's 4 foot tall.
On a good day.
Not really. You know what? You've got a follower on Instagram that wants to know what you look like, though.
That's TikTok.
Is that TikTok?
That's TikTok.
That's because you're super hip.
That's it.
That's it.
I'm
Nice.
trying to stay with it.
You got to keep that helmet closed.
That's right.
That's right. Nice. So, yep. So if you're using tarps, find something that's going to, last a while, and do not use tires. So if you use tires to hold the tarp down, we see that all the time. And those tires, they gather water, they grow mosquitoes, they're nasty, nasty, nasty. That's a bad way to go. Something that you can do that we found that works a lot better is if you were to go and search for a tire ring channelizer drum base, right? That's a mouthful in it.
Can you say that 5 times fast?
That 5 times fast.
Deal.
See what it did there?
Wow.
I've got kids. So yeah, a tire ring channelizer drum bass. You can get them for as cheap as $4 a pop. Sometimes they can get pricier. They might be as much as 15. But you can find them online if you can't find them locally. And those are fantastic. They're basically a tire that's been cut in half and smashed. And
Well, it's just a sidewall.
yeah, and they do a really, really good job of adding weight to the tarp without holding water.
And they're so much easier to put out
Yes, they are.
and store.
In store. Yeah, you can stack them up on a pallet, and yeah, we're letting that go. We're just letting that go. It's fine. So yeah, so you can, they're easy to move around. They're easy to store. They're easy to use. So that's fantastic. So, another thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that if you're going to store salt in a shipping container, that you make absolutely sure the salt when it goes in is dry. You get salt inside of a shipping container and then it freezes, it's over. You're gonna have to get in there with a breaker to break it out of there. That's real bad too. So we've gotten away from using those things because that can be pretty rough. So And then, bag product is really pretty simple. Just keep it out of the sun. Again, the sun is bad. If you've got a product that shows up and you got a pallet full of it and it's wrapped in, black plastic, that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. Just take, a black 6 mil poly, cover your pallet with it, wrap it with shrink wrap. You can stick it out and outside, no problem at all. You have something that's in a clear type wrapping that you may want to try to protect a little better, just to make sure that the sun doesn't get into it and start eating away at the poly on the bags.
Yeah, and that goes back to tarps again. Try not to tarp your bag product.
Right, especially if you've got 2 rows of pallets right next to each other. Inevitably, the water is going to puddle right in the middle of those 2 tarp of the 2 rows, and then that water is going to pull the tarp down the middle. It's going to tear. It's going to be a pain in the butt to get out. It's bad.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I don't know what you're talking about. That never happens. Never happens. Nope. So, look at that. 30 minutes.
Oh,
another commercial.
Already?
I know, right?
Well,
Just because we were late on the first one.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. We got to pay better attention. Anyway, all right, here's another commercial break. Enjoy it.
Creating art from darkness. For over 20 years, Cast Lighting has designed and manufactured the world's most durable, energy-efficient, and technically advanced landscape lighting products available at astonishingly affordable prices. Cast offers an all-encompassing line of products with everything you need to get the job done. Cast Landscape, their most durable product, is best-in-class, low-voltage landscape lighting made of solid bronze with integrated and drop-in LED technology. These fixtures are built to endure the most demanding environments. Source Lighting, a new division by Cast, is your source for professional grand landscape lighting made of durable brass, offering both integrated and drop-in LED technology, and backed by Cast, the world's most durable outdoor lighting. Cast Lighting gives you innovative, state-of-the-art, old-world craftsmanship with tomorrow's technology. Visit their website at cast-lighting.com today. That's cast-lighting.com.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world, no one rocks like Turf's Up Radio. Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hardworking hands reach for Gemplers for pro-grade landscape tools and gear. Much like our customers, Gemplers is family-owned and independent, which makes it easy to shop online and get your orders shipped quickly from our warehouse straight to your front door. Rather speak to a human? No worries. Gemplers always answers your call. Shop Gemplers for supplies from tools to tree care, safety to sprayers, watering to workwear, and even add your logo for free to show your customers that you're serious. Right now, buy any 2 pairs of work gloves and get a 3rd pair free. Mix and match, no limit, stock up for spring. Shop Gemplers.com. That's GEMPLERS.com.
Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Weekend Review.
The Weekend Review.
Join King Darren and all of your favorite Turf's Up Radio hosts, including Heculus, Eric, the Turf Teacher Jones, Brian.
My name is not Brian.
Ryan Lee, Wayne the Prophet Bowles,
One opportunity.
his son Daniel, Brooke Ford, the Green Veteran,
Giddy up.
and many more. Join us live as we unpack the week and share what you may have missed live on Turf's Up Radio. That's the Weekend Review, Saturdays, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Yeah! Oh, yeah.
Fed up with your current software?
One too many.
You went one too many?
I did. I didn't turn off the autoplay.
Do we get paid more now?
No, we don't get paid anything.
Oh.
Wait,
I signed a contract.
I signed a contract too.
Well, you know what? No, you're not getting paid. What are you drinking?
Water.
That's your pay.
Man.
All right.
It really looks like you got your water out of a whiskey barrel.
Really does.
It almost looks like salt brine.
It's salt brine?
It is salt brine.
Maybe.
Oh, that'd be rough.
Speaking of salt brine.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So salt brine, if anybody's using liquids, the salt brine is something where, as you store that over the off season, really all you need to do is maybe turn that once or twice. But, keep an eye on it. As long as your salinity level's right, you're in good shape. But that's, that's something where if you don't know how to assess that, just jump on Amazon really, and look for a salinity refractometer. You can get them on Amazon for under $20. It'll tell you exactly, what the salinity content is of your brine there, and you'll know, if you're going to have a problem with it or not.
I feel like they made that a really complicated word.
Refractometer?
I feel like don't they understand they're working with snowplow contractors who really don't appreciate things like that, because it's borderline offensive.
I'm offended.
Oh, my God. Wow. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Everything's fine.
I'm not offended.
I'm not offended either.
Or is that just how we make other people think we're smart?
Maybe.
I said
we
it.
could mispronounce it.
We got to have some form of professionality in this industry.
Is professionality anything like professionalism?
No.
Okay.
Totally different.
See, there
Next
we go.
level.
I see what happened.
Level
yeah. It's a refractometer. Motor.
Motor?
I don't know, man.
Electric?
Oh, so cleaning up the season, right?
Cleaning it right up.
Cleaning it right up. We gotta. The other thing that we want to do is we want to clean up our customers, right? So I mean,
bathing?
No, not bathing. Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends on the customer, probably. No, it probably doesn't.
No, it probably.
I don't think we can say that kind of stuff these days, can we?
I don't know. I signed a contract.
You know what?
It's not advised, I would think.
I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that the snow removal professionals are not gonna be that easily offended.
I would hope not.
I would hope not. I mean, I don't think so.
I don't know, man. I can get pretty offended after 40 hours straight.
Well, yeah, but that's 40 hours.
Right.
It's springtime now.
So I can stop working 40 hours at a time now?
Yes.
No, you still got to keep going.
So no. We're not going to bathe our customers.
Okay, fair enough.
We're not going to. We may deliver some type of detergent, but we're not going to actually bathe them.
Like Crown Wash?
Maybe. It's really good.
It is really good.
Heavy equipment wash.
Heavy equipment wash is even better.
It's like the best stuff ever.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, that can be totally taken the wrong way.
Stop it,
man. No more of that whiskey looking water for you. Whew. The next show is gonna be better.
Salt brine looking water.
Salt brine. That's right. It's just straight salt brine.
It's just salt.
It's fine. It's fine. So maybe the most important part of your postseason cleanup is touching base with your customers. You want to. This is a really good time to identify any issues, good or bad. So even if there's a bad issue right now, it's going to be fresh in your customer's mind. And if their intention is to can you and find somebody else, you're going to figure that out, and you're going to know that you're probably, you may not get that account back, and you can plan for that now instead of finding out in the fall. Similarly, if that customer is super, super happy, well, man, you should, see if they'll tell their friends, and can they throw you any other work, and, how can you grow with them? So, you definitely want to do what you can to identify, good and bad. So, topics that you can talk through with them are going to be, just start with a performance review, super easy. Hey, what can we do better? Is there anything we can do better? Is there anything that, you were not happy with? I mean, a lot of times customers have got, things that it's not a big enough deal for them to mention it during a snowstorm because they know you're busy and they don't want to deal with it. And they just go, it's just easier not to worry about it. But those things build up over time. And if you come right out of the gates in the spring and say, hey, I want to make sure you're happy. What can we do to make you happy? And they say, well, now that you mention it, here, don't put snow here, or is there a different product you can use, or whatever. Those are the things you can find out now. And then similarly, another good question to ask is, how did you compare to your competitors? Most of the time, companies that are, of decent size are going to have more than one vendor, and you kind of want to know how you stack up, and don't hesitate to ask that. That's something where, if you're doing a really good job, they'll tell you. If you're not doing as good as your competitors, they'll generally tell you. Brent, I mean, what kind of feedback do you get on, customer conversations this time of year?
This time of year, I generally reach out to every single customer I have and, ask them, hey, how'd things go for you guys? What was your overall opinion? Would you like to get together for lunch and discuss it? About 10% of the customers take me up on that, but I generally get a response from everybody in one way or another. Usually, if you performed well or not, but sometimes it's good to hear the feedback from the customer because they might have seen it from their perspective. One of the fun feedbacks I got this year so far was that, unbeknownst to us, there was a competition between which property was looking better, the property we were servicing or another one of their properties. And from what I understand, we were winning that battle, and we didn't even know we were in a contest.
Oh, that's fun.
And this was the maintenance guys, sharing pictures back and forth. Oh, look how good my property looks. And then the other guy saying, well, look at mine. And we didn't even know we were in a battle. And I think we still won that battle from what I understood.
Do we know who the other, we don't need to say who the other one was. Were we the other vendor? Did we service the other property?
No, we did not.
No? Okay.
They asked that question before they told me that story.
That's fun. That's fun. Yeah. So yeah, good opportunity to build relationships with the customers and know what you can do to get better.
Yeah, and the other thing is that usually when the customers agree to meet me for lunch or just meet in general and discuss, how things went, that almost always either results in additional properties to look at and bid on, or renewed confidence that you can keep pushing as hard as you can to service that property and that you're doing things the way they want. It doesn't do any good to make a lot of money on a property just to lose it. So
fair. No, absolutely. And then, another thing that's going to come up in those conversations, hopefully, is property damage, So, I mean, we're the snow guys, right? So we get blamed for every cracked curb, every bent sign. I mean, every dead bush, every, blade of grass that croaks along the sidewalk. I mean, that's all our fault. So, this is a really good opportunity to talk with your customers about, hey, every single year the turf alongside your sidewalk winds up dead. Maybe we should look at doing something other than grass along your entryway that you want us to service 19 times an hour. Right.
Right.
True. That's a true statement.
Yeah. So, so those are the things where, a lot of times we've had customers that have had tremendous amounts of vegetation that has died, and they spend a bunch of money replacing it, and they're super, super pissed at us. And we didn't even know about it until, the following fall when we're talking to them about renewal, and they say, oh my God, well, no, I'm not going to renew with you. You killed $47,000 worth of trees. And then you come to to find out that
that's not a real number.
It's a lot of trees.
Just got to throw that out there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a pretty realistic number though. I mean, we hear, $5,000 to $10,000 worth of landscape damage is pretty common.
And nowadays it doesn't take much to add up to that when you count labor and in fact, if you killed the plants, you got to replace the soil those plants go in. That's a lot more labor digging that out and replacing.
Right. And the thing too is that maybe you're a landscape contractor and that's part of the gig. You kill the plants and then charge them to fix it, in which case good for you, I guess. But if you're the landscape contractor and we're the snow contractor, we need to make sure to keep an eye on that. And that's something where we'd like to be part of that process so we can identify, we did have one property where, the trees kept dying, and they would said every year it was there was trees and bushes that were in the landscape areas, and they said, hey, this is I replace these every year. We just got to go find another vendor. We went and looking. We found out that there was only a foot of soil in there, 1.5 feet of soil, and it was just nasty garbage like bricks and construction debris and stuff. And this is out in the islands in the parking lot, right, where as they're building that center, they throw all the crap inside the forms for the concrete curbs, and then they threw a little dirt in there and put a plant in the middle of it, and here we are a few years later, and we're replacing the trees every year. Well, no kidding,
So we've actually picked up contracts on some pretty exclusive sites where the only difference was that we said, yeah, if we kill the vegetation, we'll take care of it. I mean, it's a full encompassing package, and not only saying that, but actually following up with that is what keeps that customer. And the best customer you can have is the one you don't have to replace. So doing things like that can really make your business more predictable in the long run. Right.
Well, and being predictable. I mean, that's something where, in that same meeting, I mean, if you've got even a relatively good vibe, I mean, ask for the renewal right then. Try to get that done early. If the customer's happy and you're happy and you're going to be okay and the money was okay, I mean, get that renewal right now. I mean, one in the hand is better than two in the bush any day. I mean, if you can get that done, do it.
This industry has a really bad pattern of not even discussing renewals till fall.
Right.
And that's not fair to the customer. That's not fair to the contractor. And that's something that we need to try and break these properties of that habit, because snow is such an afterthought, at least down here in the Midwest. I don't know how things are up north. Maybe they're actually a little more proactive. But around here, last few years, it's just been, let's talk in August or September. It's like, well, that's not the best idea if you want good service. If you don't care about your service, then that's fine. But if you're going to sign your contracts that late, then don't expect the best service in the world, because you're going to get the crews that are left over.
Right. And the experience that I've got in, Milwaukee and, you get over the Twin Cities at Minnesota. So, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Northern Illinois, the areas that we've done work up in those areas. And the mentality is still the same in that, while the season starts a little earlier, there's still a thought process of, gosh, I just don't want to deal with that until the fall. So, I mean, if you can get that done earlier, that would be much, much mo better.
A lot more better.
There it is. I knew it was coming. So, and then, the other things too is, of course, ask them if they can give you a good reference, and do they have any friends they can refer you to? I mean, if you're trying to grow your business, this is a great time to do it in the spring, because you have time to figure out, okay, are these the kind of customers that we want to deal with? Are these the kind of properties that we can service? Are we set for that? Are we not set for that? I mean, those are all conversations you can have, in the spring to be ready and preparing over the summer and the fall. Right?
Absolutely right.
And not every customer is worth keeping. Sometimes your service levels and what you need just doesn't match with what they want you to do. And it's better to identify that early than late.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with that too is as contractors, we want our customers to be happy, and we want to take care of them. So if we have a contract that isn't a real great fit for us, but the customer wants to keep us on, we tend to still want to do that to try to make our customers happy. And if it's not a good fit, then, that's a conversation to have in the springtime for sure. So
it's really hard to scale your quality back to meet the customer standards.
Right.
And sometimes reviewing your P&L before you have that discussion often curbs your opinion of that client. Suddenly you might find yourself willing to, maybe this is worth the hassle.
Right. Yep. No, fair enough. Fair enough. You know what? 46 minutes and 13 seconds. We got to do another commercial.
Already?
Wait,
we're a minute late.
Yep. It's okay though.
Roll that beautiful bean.
Here we go. Commercial number 3.
Software solution. Field Routes is the cloud-based
screwed
software
it up. Hang
technology.
on. I you know what? Those are our supporters, man. I'm going to go ahead and back that up to the beginning so we can hear it.
There you go.
You ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Right, one more time.
Let's do it.
Fed up with your current
That was
software
a lot
solution?
better.
Field Routes is the cloud-based software technology you need to level up your lawn care business. From routing to scheduling, collections, marketing, reporting, and more. It's the all-in-one solution that automates, not complicates. Field Routes helps lawn care companies simplify, scale, and grow. Schedule your free demo today by visiting fieldroutes.com. That's fieldroutes.com.
You're listening to Turf's Up Radio, the only radio station of its kind dedicated to the green industry. Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey everybody, Wayne Vose, the Prophet, your host of Profit Time here on Turf's Up Radio. If you listen to my show, you know I'm all about profit. As an industry, profit is something we fail to meet most of the time. If you're working hard but not seeing the results that you deserve, Profits Unlimited is here to help. We offer processes and systems designed specifically to make your company more successful, more profitable, and certainly more efficient. When you're ready to take your company to the next level, reach out to me at profitsareus.com. That's profitsareus.com. And don't forget to turn into Profit Time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Wow, we got some great sponsors.
There they are, man. Right? Dang right.
I especially like that last one.
That last one was awesome.
Well, as a veteran, I think you should.
Yep.
Thank you for your service.
No problem.
Thanks, Brent.
You guys just had to throw that in there. I wasn't even going to bring that up.
Well, we had to.
Well, no, you brought it up. I guess you didn't really bring it up.
He didn't bring it up.
I guess it's my fault.
You brought it up.
Yeah. Man.
Wah, wah.
You know what? I feel like we put some thought into making a little diagram here for what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And the best parts of this thing so far have been when we've just like talked and not tried to follow that
completely deviated.
Right? It's certainly more entertaining.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of it, but we got to be informative too.
That's true. All right. Well, you know what? The next one,
my favorite one,
is going to be the second one, and it's going to be better than this one.
Are we just going to throw the script out the window?
No.
That's a really bad idea.
We should just maybe taper it down a little bit.
Taper the script down?
Taper?
That's what I said.
Yeah. Taper, that's a fun word.
Did you say Tupperware?
What?
Tupper?
Man, it's okay.
Yeah,
so,
not so good.
It's like Napoleon Dynamite. Which I want that.
See,
about the Tupperware.
This is exactly what it would be if we didn't have an outline.
That's right. It would be it. So what's better? You know what? You, the listener, please tell us what's better. Podcast at swintergroup.com. See what I just did there?
I liked
That's
it.
completely fair.
Man.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anybody still listening?
Absolutely. They want to hear about cruise.
Maybe. Yeah, see? Because you're looking at the schedule.
Well, I got to.
Nice. Yeah, so all right. So we've cleaned up our equipment, we've cleaned up our materials, we've cleaned up our customers. Now we got to clean up our crews, right? So it'll be interesting to figure out what the demographic is of the listenership here. So, how many folks are, primarily subcontracted operations, how many folks are self-performing, how many are a mix. But either way, whether you're subcontracting or self-performing or you're a mix, you're going to have your rock stars and you're going to have your dirt bags. I mean, right?
Wow.
I mean,
you're not wrong.
Right.
I just wasn't ready.
Oh, well, man, get ready.
I'm up.
You never know what's happening.
Wow.
Just right up, boom, just like that.
Oh, goodness.
Yep. Yeah. So, okay. So, so at a very, very high level. So, you want to make sure that you're looking at your subcontractors and your employees, and you want to make sure that they made money. I mean, if you've got subcontractors working for you, you have to make sure that they're profitable, that if they're not making enough money to make it worth their while to do good work, they're not going to come back. They're not going to do good work. Your reputation as a general contractor in snow is going to suffer. That's bad for everybody. So, do the best you can to make sure your subcontractors are doing well. And then same with your employees. If they're in it for the overtime, great. Make sure they get it. If they don't want the overtime, well, then don't work them to death. You really need to make sure that you're managing your staffing as well as you can, especially these days.
And there's nothing wrong with having a hybrid system. You can have those guys that want to be rock stars, that want to be there from the beginning to the end, and then have the guys that you kind of rotate out,
That's right.
Give that main guy a break.
Dave,
100%.
Can we talk about Dave? Dave, if you're listening, thank you for being that guy.
You are that guy, Dave, and we appreciate it.
All the time.
Everybody needs a Dave.
Everybody needs a Dave. If you don't have a Dave, go find yourself a Dave.
He's not just Dave, he's Super Dave.
He's pretty much Super Dave.
During a snowstorm, he sure as hell is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man's an animal.
I don't think we can talk on air what he does during a snowstorm.
Thank you, Dave. We really, really appreciate all your efforts, man, for sure.
I do think it's important to point out, though, that high level, low level employees, everyone is struggling with employees in general and their lack thereof.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have the fortunate ability to hire more guys to replace people who are not performing, then they need to come up with some type of plan to get them up to speed.
Yeah.
What's it going to take to train them, to motivate them? Is it something you can do?
Right. And you can look at that on, from subcontractors and employees as well. I mean, training is a huge deal. I mean, that's something that we, here we're largely a subcontracted operation. I mean, we've got a few of our own trucks, but for the most part, we subcontract it all. And the reason being is because we couldn't possibly have all that equipment set all year. I mean, we're pretty good at taking care of stuff, but dang,
that's a lot of equipment.
A lot of stuff. But we offer training for our contractors. We offer we mandate training for our crews, but we definitely offer that for our subs, because if our subs are good at what they do, they'll make more money. Our jobs will look better. Our customers are happier. They're more profitable. We're more profitable. I mean, everybody wins if everybody is good. And then, and not only do they need to be good, but they need to have the right equipment for the job. I mean, you look out and I see other, professional companies that have got, a 5-gallon bucket, and then, there's this dude walking down the sidewalk slinging ice melt out of a 5-gallon bucket. And it's like, God, man, you're wasting material, you're wasting time, get you a spreader, do that right, have the right equipment for the job, and you'll be better. Your customer's job will be better. Everything is better. So,
and you got to look at that shoe on the other foot too. You don't want the guy with a tractor and a 16-foot box plow working a Taco Bell, drive through. Bad plan.
Man,
I'd be impressed if someone could pull that off.
That'd be pretty sweet, though.
It would be something to see, but
okay, you know what?
You're probably paying that guy a lot.
There's something else, right? Somebody out there has seen a tractor in a 16-foot box on, did you say Jack in the Box?
Taco Bell.
All right, we got to have a picture of that. Podcast at swintergroup.com. Send us that picture, man.
I've
That'd be
seen
awesome.
a wheel loader with a large, maybe a 12-foot metal plus pushing a Chick-fil-A. It's probably the biggest I've seen on a lot that size.
Was that in Lincoln?
That was.
That's awesome.
I stopped what I was doing and watched. I was so impressed.
How could you not? Was Chick-fil-A still open?
Not at that time.
They were open the next morning, man. Because
but there was like 14 inches of snow, and he cleared that thing in like 5 minutes.
that was the trip you introduced me to the Chick-fil-A breakfast sandwich.
It was worth it too.
So good. My brother called me to tell me that McDonald's now has a breakfast chicken sandwich, and it is
not.
I can't imagine it's as good.
I had it. I ordered it just to try.
Not as good.
It's processed meat. It's not the same.
That's right. That's right. Awesome. So you gotta focus in on making sure that your subs and employees got the right equipment. Logistically, that's a big deal too. So if you've got subcontractors, are they working in an area that they're comfortable with? I mean, is that something that they're close enough to their shop that they can make a repair quickly, that they can run back and get a nap if they need to? Is that something where they're in a geographical area that they're familiar with? Things like that are really important for subs, but it's really important for your employees as well. I mean, there's a fine line between trying to make sure that somebody's working close enough to home. So if they need to grab a new pair of socks, or they need to grab take a nap or something like that, that's really good as well. I mean, if you can keep people close to the areas that they're comfortable with, they're going to be more productive. Right?
I totally agree. I mean, there's a reason why our best contractors are also our highest paid grossing contractors. They finally understand what it takes to succeed. They know how to do it right, and they don't take more work than they can.
Yep.
The contractors that take more work than they should are not making anywhere near the money they should be making.
Well, and that's because they particularly in a per occurrence environment where yes, this property may only pay $100, but if you can do it 12 times in a few hours, well, now that's $1,200, and now all of a sudden that starts to make some sense. But if you make $100 here, and then you got to drive 20 minutes to go make another $100, then you got to drive 30 minutes to go make another $100. Well, now, yeah, you may have 12 accounts that all pay $100, but you're not going to be able to get enough occurrences in to cover the windshield time to get from property A to property B.
So it's kind of an old way of thinking. The snow service industry has really started to change over the last 8 to 10 years, where you went from when the storm's done, let's get it cleared, and you plowed once or twice per storm, regardless of how much snow fell, to every year it seems like every customer wants higher and higher service, which means you don't need as many customers, and just increasing your service level will make you far more money than having more customers ever will.
Yep. Well, and I think that part of that too is that there's plenty of customers out there that don't want that service level. But I think that as your company grows and as you get better, and when we're talking earlier about cleaning up your customers, if you can weed out the customers that don't want that higher service level and find the customers that do, now you're talking. Mm-hmm. That's a really good way of doing that. But you have to be willing and able to make those calls and make those decisions early in the spring to put yourself in a position where you can bid on new work with higher service properties. Right?
I agree.
It's all about the success.
There you go. Double the C, double the S.
That's right.
Yeah.
Money. We need that on a button.
What was that? Wayne Voles? Was that his name? The guy that had the ad? Mm-hmm. All about money? He knows about money.
Oh, yeah. He's all about success.
I think so. Profits.
All about profit.
I got it wrong.
He's all about profits.
Profit, baby.
Man.
Pay attention to
that bottom line.
Sponsors. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So yeah. And then, and with your customers, you asked how you can be better. Ask your employees, ask your subcontractors, hey, how can we be better? We one of the things we did here that was, I was a little surprised at how big of a difference it made was, throwing a fridge in with some snacks and foods. I mean, guys were so happy to be able to get back, and even though it's throwing junk in the microwave, there's something warm to eat that's here that's ready for them.
It's funny that you bring that up, because actually I was interviewing a guy that's going to be coming on board with us, and one of the guys out back was telling him about how wintertime goes, and one of the selling points for him was, man, they got food here for us when we need it, and they really take good care of us. So that one thing really reverbed throughout the whole big picture.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that people that aren't in this business don't understand, that, you can't just run through a drive-through in the middle of a storm.
Right.
Because they close.
Right.
It's the entire city, well, at least around here in St. Louis, it's hard to find anywhere open to get food in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah. No,
even
completely.
The 24-hour joints are all closed for a day or two at a time if it's a big storm.
Yep. And you know what's bizarre? 59 minutes and 39 seconds. We got to go.
Should we call it?
We got to go.
We got to go.
This one's got to be over.
We out.
I can't believe it. So here we are, the end of the first episode.
That actually went really smooth. I think we did a great job.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except Ken forgot to hit the record button.
No, it's on. It's red. I can see it.
Start it over. Run it back.
Did you remember to put that memory card in?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's in.
Okay.
It's in. Yep. So, anyways, yep. So, anyway, we're out for this time. I hope you come back. I hope you listen more. And again, if you do have anything you want to know about or any topics you want us to discuss, podcast@swintergroup.com is our email. We'd really love to hear from you. We'd really love to be doing some stuff that you want to hear about, so we're not just guessing. So, anyway, thanks again from all of us at Swinter Group. Have a good